All right, yet another big orange truck video. We had a little problem a couple days ago, and I'm going to show you my solution because it's something that's happened to me a couple times now. It's really not good. And in fact, I looked up this problem on Google, and what I found out is I'm not the only one that's had this problem before. So we're going to rectify it. It has to do with the brakes, and I'm going to show you right now what I did. All right. So here's the situation. This, not sure what the official term for it is. I call it a brake caliper wedge. Retainer block. It's got this little spring right there. Here's the caliper mount on both sides. What happened is there's also a retaining bolt right there. You see that? So what happened is this retaining block, or whatever you want to call it, it fell out. It's happened twice now. It happened on the other side. So I already did the fix on the other side. Now I'm coming over here to do this side as a preventative measure. But what happens when it falls out is the caliper doesn't go anywhere because the wheel is like right there. But obviously you don't want your brake caliper floating around. I mean, it's full floating brakes, but I don't think that's what they mean by that. So I believe what happens is this big caliper bracket, I think it spreads out over time and there's just too much slop. Let me see. I don't think this one was as bad as the other side, but let's see if we can get it to, like right now it's spring loaded. This thing really shouldn't move. But you can see there's a pretty good amount of slop there, and that really shouldn't be the case. So I'll show you the fix. Let me pull this out. I already got the other one made. I'll show you right now. So here's the stock one, here's the modified one. This little retaining bolt goes right there. This bottoms out on the bracket. So this can float back and forth a little bit, which is how it's designed to work. New version has this retaining washer, which I obviously welded on there. It goes in there. This still allows it to float a little bit, but there's just no way, obviously it's stuck in there. Unless this washer breaks, this can't just fall out. That's the safety measure. The real solution to the problem is actually on this side. Let's see here. You see, I welded up on the ends and also right here compared to just how it's supposed to be stock. 80 thousandths was the magic number after a little trial and error. What that does is that pushes the spring out a little further and takes up the extra slop from the caliper bracket spreading over time. And then I had to build up this edge too, because that's what keeps the spring from falling out this direction here, back and forth. Anyways, then when I drove this in on the other side, it was nice and tight. You had to pound it in lightly with a hammer, which is what you want. The way it was before, I could just slide this with the spring on there, just slide it in without any force. So that's what we got. And again, I want to reiterate, this isn't like, I don't think I'm the only one apparently with this problem. Because just Google it, start doing some searches on forums or whatever, and some other people have had the same problem. In fact, this washer idea, that was actually someone on a forum, Ford truck forum. I'd give them credit if I could remember who it was, but that was their idea. Me welding up the other side of it to take up the 80 thousandths, that was my idea. But so there you have it, and I will show you in a second here with it installed. All right, I just slid the new wedge in there. As you can see, I haven't put the bolt in yet, but I just wanted to show you. And Also, with that extra 80 thousandths material, see how that's nice and tight, so it won't rattle around. I want to show you one other thing before I put this the rest of the way back together. This is the stock retaining bolt that goes in there. Now the first time this happened, where that wedge came out, my solution was, because I saw that there was a little bit of slop there, was to make a custom bolt. So actually the bolt's just a grade 8 bolt, 5/16, but this custom stainless washer, which the theory behind that was it's bigger diameter than the stock flange, which would theoretically, and this goes in here like this, help retain it better because it's bigger, you know. This anyway, so I don't think that was, I think what's actually happening is the brake action forces the caliper all the way up to the top, and this is spread out, and I don't know, I think it just slides right up because the retaining bolt was still there. It's hard to imagine it happening, but it did. Now, I live on a gravel road, as some of you know, and right now the stutter bumps are kind of bad. And this only happened, I mean, I was an hour away from home. This happened when I got to my road. And it's like all the little stutter bumps, and it really shakes everything, and that thing just worked its way out all of a sudden. But obviously that's not okay. So I'm still using the custom bolt. It fits in there nicely. And again, this tightens down. Oh, you can't see that. This tightens down to that standoff right there. You don't, you know, that's what the bolt is tightening up against. It's not tightening up against the wedge. So with this in there, it still is able to float around just a little bit. And that's all it really needs, because really the caliper needs to be able to move a little bit. So this still can move on this side. There you have it. There you have it. And if we look closely, there it is over there on the other side. Right there. And that's going to do it for this episode of Uncle Jesse's Rod Shop. There'll be more stuff coming up soon. I got some blaster stuff coming out pretty soon. I'll have some final trim stuff coming out soon, and there's some badging that needs to go on here. I want to bring this thing on a car cruise Labor Day, and I'd really like it to be, the trim to be all finished up and stuff for that. And as we're talking right now, that's like 10 days from now. All right, guys, see ya.